Right, I don't usually do this, since I'm not very good at speaking or making videos or doing anything like that. But in recent weeks, months, even years, what's happening in the world is just insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, a bunch of literal nobodies and losers and nobodies and losers have decided that they are now, God emperors, and they decide how everyone should live and behave. I am talking about the incredibly far left, the radicals. I mean, recently with the situation on YouTube, where people are just being demonetized, banned, having videos deleted, all because a gay Mexican got annoyed that he got called a gay Mexican. Strange. It's just another step on the road to a complete and utter total fascist censorship society. I mean, the major problem with all this is the radical left are telling us how we should live our lives and what morals we should go by, when they themselves have no actual morals at all. I mean, the fact that a bunch of university dropouts, unemployed hippies, tree huggers and delusional socialists who can't even decide what gender they're going to be each day, or have panic attacks because they saw a right angled triangle or someone giving an OK sign and they're having to breathe heavily into brown paper bags and need a safe space because the outside world's not particularly a nice thing. What a shocker. I guess the rest of us already knew that beforehand. Are now trying to tell us how to live our lives and what is good and not good. I mean, it blows my mind, but it's getting worse. I've lost numerous friends due to political ideology. I wouldn't class myself as far right. I wouldn't even class myself as right. I don't class myself as left or far left. I class myself as in the centre. Take bits and bobs of both sides and try to make the best out of it. But I have friends who I knew were the left. I agree with some of their policies, don't agree with their more radical ideas, but we always had that little understanding. Anyway, just recently, one of my closest and dearest friends has unfriended me on Facebook and now won't talk to me because I got sick and tired of his bloody Corbyn mantra that he kept chanting all the time. I mean, when you see it on your Facebook 5 or 6 times in a week, I find that's alright. But 5 or 6 times in a fucking day, that's get a bit annoying. So I made pointed out problems with listening to Corbyn. At which point I was jumped by what I can only describe as a raging soy boy, demanding that I prove my point. So I did. I used mainstream media, which the left seem to love so much, to prove my point about Corbyn. I even used the Equality Human Rights website about the investigation into Labour and anti-Semitism. At which point I was told that mainstream media should not be believed in regards to Corbyn because they just tell lies, and that I should get that star-spangled cock out of my mouth. At which point my response was, no, these are literally the things that you tried to tell me ages ago with other situations are truthful statements, and we should pay attention to the likes of The Guardian, Washington Post, New York Times, fucking Daily Mirror, Sun, Star and all those other terrible things, BBC News. Supposedly that's not a reliable source anymore from the lefts if it goes against their ideology. So that was the situation yesterday, at which point the insults started flying. Only after 4 hours, this soy boy could only provide one piece of evidence that Corbyn was alright, but was from a socialist communist website saying he's an alright bloke. At which point I said, well, judging by that, I assume the North Korean Times has got a wonderful piece on how amazingly great everyone in North Korea is great time everyone in North Korea is having. Pay no attention to the piles of bodies, the starvation, and the gulags. But it just throws up this thing of, why are a bunch of people who can't decide what they want, or even want to be, or even actually know anything at all, are being able to tell 99% of the population how to live their lives? And it just blows my mind that that in the 21st century, after everything that humanity's come through, that a bunch of people who would have died before their 10th birthday in the Middle Ages or even in the early 20th century are telling people who get on with life and are actually decent human beings that they're scum, fascists, and that they shouldn't even exist. But let's listen to the guy with, you know, the flipping asthma, lactose intolerance, and an inability to carry not only his own body weight, but probably breaks a bone every time a fly lands on his shoulder. Now probably people are going to say, oh, this is a very racist and fascist video you're making here. Well, nowadays everything that's right of Maoist China and Soviet Russia is classed as racist and fascist, so I accept that, and if you want to call me that, that's perfectly fine. Because obviously you don't understand any other words apart from that, and if your worst insult and most horriblest word to me is, oh, you're a fascist, then good for you. That's great, wonderful. I'm sure to lose at least 1 second of sleep. But yeah, it's just, the world's just gone completely nuts. I mean, and it's just the fact that bright people are noticing this and they're getting shouted out by a bunch of people who, let's just put it this way, we know who these people are. These are the people who at school your parents wouldn't let you talk to them because they're the weird kid down the street, or you know, the person who only had one friend and two imaginary friends and a bucket with eyes drawn on it called Bob. These people aren't powerful people, they aren't intellectuals, they aren't even, I mean, I call them morons, but that'd be insulting to morons. These people have no idea. They scream and shout and raise their hands and just like, listen to me because what? I have a pair of breasts. Well, with the way my diet's going, I'll soon have a pair of breasts by the time I'm 50. But no, rational people are being shouted down and ignored by a bunch of loopy nut jobs. I mean, I'm not talking about everyone on the left here, I'm talking about the radicals, I'm talking about the SJWs. I mean, you've just got to look at the fact that they call Carl Benjamin a fascist. I mean, bloody hell, if you spent 5 minutes watching any of his videos, you know he's not a fascist. I mean, I'm a fascist because I don't agree with completely open borders, allowing 6.1 billion people just to mosey on into a country that's already struggling with 65 million people. I don't agree with the fact that, you know, cultures that are completely different to ours, that literally want us dead, and literally want gays, homosexuals, lesbians, trans, all them people burnt alive and had their hands cut off. Now, I don't think that's a group of people that I particularly want in my country. I like, you know, the gays are fine. I have a lot of friends who are gay. In fact, one of my managers at work is gay, and he's a wonderful bloke, and if anything happened to him, even though he's just a manager and he's supposed to hate your managers at some point, that'd be terrible, and I would absolutely do something. I would defend his rights to the bitter end. But we're allowing these people in because the radical lefts don't have a clue about what they're doing at all, about anything. They haven't even got a foggiest idea of how the world actually works, because they were just these kids who stay in their own bedrooms all the time, never came out, never did anything. I mean, the sort of person who, in the old days of Xbox 360, if you looked at their friends list, they'd have 2. And they sat in there stewing, angry at everything. And now they've been given this opportunity to be whoever they want to be. They can't even decide that. And they're now these people with absolutely no morals, no ideas, no actual goals in life, no nothing, just anger, have been told, you can run this stuff now. Let the people who've actually got intelligence and know how to do things, forget them, they're just fascists. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Oh, he's a straight white male. Wonderful, great, thank you. I mean, not that you discriminate against anything. Discrimination only works if it's on their side. But that was more of a rant than a talk. I apologise for the crappy video, to be honest with you. I don't usually do these. In fact, I never do these. It was just a nice little walk near where I live. You know, perfect. You know, I don't know. I'm just tired. I don't walk that much. I'm tired, annoyed, and people are just acting like idiots. And when, I'd honestly be hurt, because when people you've known as friends and who you've helped through serious times in their lives and always been there for them, when you disagree on politics but are being insulted by one of their other friends and defend yourself, and then that friend goes, I no longer want to speak to you because you insulted my other friend, it's just sort of kicks you in the nuts, really. And it just sort of, you know, makes you think, well, who is actually my friend? And to be honest with you, it's made me realise that most people on the left aren't your friends. They'll stab you in the back for the ideology that they follow. And I learnt that my friend, given a choice between being my friend or joining that queue for the cult of Comrade Corbyn, would join that queue straight away. And it's just shocking, really, that people you thought were your friends and people you think are perfectly fine will stab you in the back for their ideology. And that's in a Western society where we got past that hundreds of years ago. But nut jobs who haven't got a clue about how to build friendships or how to actually interact with humans. That's a low branch. That's what you get for being 6'4". Thorns in the head, you know. Oh no, look at me, I'm saying I'm Jesus now with a crown of thorns. What to do, I'm sure that'll make people angry. But yeah, but it turns out that people on the left, they can't make friends. They're never going to be your friends. You can't talk to them. You can't debate them. You can't even make jokes with them. You can't even interact with them in the human, because they don't understand human interactions. And that's the problem. That's the problem. It's a group of people. Oh God, I'm right unfit. It's a group of people. Oh, sunshine, nice. We're dealing with a group of people. Oh boy, this fucking leather jacket as well. It's a group of people who don't understand anything about human interactions at all, telling us how we should interact with other humans. And I think that's why I'm going to wrap it up, because I don't think you're going to watch another 10 minutes of me breathing heavily. Unless that turns you on, but whatever, I'm probably going to get moaned at for being sexist there or something. I don't know, I'm white, I always get told off for shit. Anyway, walk out.